Hello. I, just checking this is all kicking in before I get on with it. Oh, that's better. I did try this just now on the live channel and it didn't work. No one came. Where am I? Where's the camera? There we are. Sorry, let me adjust that so you can see where I am. Hello. I thought I'd do a random live stream, and the reason is just to talk a little bit about this ear unit that I burnt out last week and actually take a bit of a look at what's gone on. And there is going to be a video coming on this, but I'm going to do a bit more diagnostics on it to see if a repair is going to be possible at all. Good evening, Mark. Hello, Robert. So, so this isn't a video that's going to go live on the channel when it finishes. I'll pull it down. Even doing this live is probably going to destroy some of the analytics on YouTube, but hey ho, we all surrender to the algorithm at some point. But yeah, so the idea of this is just going to be having a look at what's going on. Let me just get the mic in the right place as well. Sorry about the noise there. I'll put it up a little bit more so you can see it there. It might be a bit quieter than usual. I do apologize because I am talking into it, but I'm not at the level I usually am. Anyway, so just to explain what's gone on, and if this just shows I haven't got this set up anywhere near the way I should have. If I hit that, there we go. For those who watch the channel, I put a comment out the other day on the Discord server that I burnt another DJI air unit out. Now this one happened on landing. The aircraft came down and bounced, typical air mode bounce. I'm still getting used to the Mambo, so I'm not quite as on the disarm shoulder button as I was on the DJI remote or the ones where you had the actual flick switch. So I've got about a second of delay in there. And it bounced, and when it stopped bouncing, it didn't flip. It pushed out a load of smoke, and the air unit actually burnt out. Now, there will be a video coming up on the channel, probably Monday or Tuesday, showing you what I found, but you guys will have a sneak peek of it because it's this one here in front of me, and I've already done a little bit of work on it already. I've removed the regulators and the shielding around the side here, but you can see she has gone very, very nastily. And like the first air unit that I did burn out, it's both regulators took it again, the same issue as last time. Now, I was going to send this one off to DJI, but as I show in the video, which will go up this week, in the end, I thought it was pointless because they're just going to say, well, you crashed it. And I'd just be, well, yes, I crashed it because that's what happens in FPV. I didn't really even crash it. But so what we're going to do is there's some things I want to do on this to see if I can diagnose a short on it to see if it's worth me proceeding to take this any further. Now, the damage that's gone on this air unit, let me just get in closer so you guys can see. There's quite a lot of damage on this. Okay, so what we have is both regulators have burnt out. So regulator, the 3.3 and the 5 volt reg again. It's also taken out the track that ran between them down to here. I'm not so worried about that because I could do a repair if I needed to. We can always do a jump wire. The coil has a little bit of damage, but it does work. This coil is fine. But the interesting thing is this has a short on it. There is a short on this coil here to ground, and that's what I want to investigate in a minute and find out if it's worth me even, if we can find that short and resolve it, then I might consider replacing the regulators and trying to get a jump wire across and seeing what happens. Josh, do they die because of the voltage spikes? I am a belief of that it's a voltage spike, and I am going to look at getting... I was talking to Chris Rosser last week. I was speaking to him yesterday as well. He's a fantastic guy if you don't know Chris, and if you haven't seen his latest video on Shark Byte, do check it out. And we were talking about these devices that will clamp down on voltage spikes. Something is setting both of these two I've had off because they're very similar issues, and the fact that both regulators burn, and these regulators are not in series, they're parallel, so you've got a 3.3 reg here and a 5 volt reg here. Now on the first one I burnt out, The 3.3 reg I repaired, but I couldn't get anywhere with the 5V, and I think it actually burnt the P1 chip, which is this one here. There's a real chance we've done that again on this one. So what we're going to do is FET Tech, that's it. Whiny bloke, that's it. Yeah, the FET Tech. Now, the only downside to the FET Tech is it is up to 6S. I would like a 4S version. I couldn't think what they were called. They're using thing diodes to, it'll come to me in a minute. They're using, the term will come to me in a second, to clamp down. And yeah, funny enough, Chris was saying that he's not burnt one since he's been using them. So I will be getting some, but they're in short supply. Scotchy dye, that's the one. Couldn't think of the term. It'll come to me in a minute. So yeah, I do want to get some FET Techs. I think I'm going to have to, especially on these digital units. Now, the original plan was to send it back to DJI, but they had just said don't bother. So if we have a quick look at what is going on this one, let me just get the meter set right. Okay, so if we dive in and just take a bit of a look, on the ground side of things, on this coil here, we're okay. We have no short. We're getting open circuit, but on this coil here, as you guys can hear instantly, we're down to 1 ohm, and we're getting the same on the other side as well. So if I go on the other side of the coil, yeah, we're down. We're definitely down to earth there. Hey, failsafe, how are you? So, the question really now is can I find the short? Is it a capacitor? Is it the system management IC, which is here, or even the P1? So the only option we've really got at this point is going for voltage injection. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for some voltage injection. Now, believe it or not, I've run out of flux. So everything I'm doing at the moment is without flux, which isn't helping. But I think the first thing we're going to do is we'll get the coil off, because we don't want to put the voltage through the coil. We don't want to do that. So what we'll do is we'll get the coil off, and really, it's... You can solder ESR cap on the board as well. Nice, neat solution. Yeah, you can. It's interesting how many of these are burning out in a bit of a... And it wasn't even a heavy crash. It wasn't a crash. It was a controlled landing. Right, let's just get the coil off if we can. So let's do that first of all. It does look a little bit worse for wear. So if my hands look like they're all over the place, that'll be because they are. I'm not the most steadiest of persons these days, especially with this small stuff. Now, I've been having a bit of a think over the last 24 hours, and I'm thinking of ordering in a lot, buying some new gear for doing a lot more of this stuff, because, you know, what we've got here is on camera. I definitely want to get a microscope. I definitely am thinking of getting one of the quick hot air stations as well. Okay, here we go. So we've recovered the coil. We've got him off. Yeah, I'm thinking of getting one of the quick hot air stations, because this one I've got from Antex is a good bit of kit, but it's not up to the task of some of the stuff. Right, so if we go on, yeah, okay, so we're definitely down to ground. We're getting 1-2 ohms. Very, very low indeed. So I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put some cooling on this first of all to get this to cool down. We'll need to put a wire on and then some cooling, and then we'll go for some voltage injection. So let's get a wire on it and let's see if we can figure out where the issue is. Tip on this is a little bit big, but it will do. There we go. I just wanted to move that slightly. Yeah. That is fine. I think what we're going to have to do as well is remove this compound, aren't we? Because it's not looking very nice. Now we're going to need to cool this because it's, get off, nice and hot. So let me just get my technical cooling solution. In the words of Lewis Rossman, for those who watch Lewis Rossman, our rapid cooling technology. And today's rapid cooling technology is a DC fan, a PC fan on a LiPo. Who knew DC fans liked 4S? So don't skimp on a hot dish. The Atom. Do you know what? I was looking at the Atom last night. Funny enough, as well. Let's have a look at the Atom. I think that's the one I was looking at last night. And the Atom. Sorry, I've moved away from the mic. The Atom does come in cheaper than the Quick as well. Just have a look. Yeah, you can get the Atom in the UK for 189 quid. At Repair Outlet. Let's go to desktop view. You guys can see that there. You can get the Atom for 189. You'll also need 20 quid on bent nozzles as well. I am tempted on the Atom. The Quick, the Quick has a huge reputation, but I am thinking of getting the Atom, definitely. Just to allow us to, just to give me a bit more power on doing this stuff. Let me bring my chat back up. Worth every penny. Yeah, I'm gonna. It's basically gonna be ordered. There we go. Just get that to cool down a little bit more. Now, what we're gonna do is, I don't own a thermal camera, so I'm not gonna be able to use a thermal on this. So we're gonna use this and probably some isopropyl. Let's get some isopropyl ready as well. I still have a rather large jug of this. Yeah, the Atom. The only complaint with the Atom is I watched Lewis Rossman's review on the Atom last night, or the comparison between the Atom and the Quick, and I do believe the performance on the two was very similar, but there were some complaints that the Atom just seemed a lot more difficult to use. But I did skim the video. So okay, good. No temperature there now. We can, well, rapid cool technology can be disabled. Buy some freezer spray. Yeah, it's another good way of doing it. I have been keeping an eye on the cheap thermal cameras, the iPhone compatible ones, because you can get one for like 120 quid on eBay. Very handy piece of kit to have. They really are. So what we are going to do is a little bit of voltage injection. Now, something I didn't check, and I just want to check it, is for the short on the other side of this. Let me just get this. I don't care about... Yeah, that's fine. So the short isn't on the reg side now. It is simply on that side. Good. Okay. So let's fire up the bench supply. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a low-level voltage injection of about 1 volt. And see where we get. And see if we get anything begin to get a little bit warm. So what we're going to do is clip that onto ground and make sure that that's in place nicely. Right, what I'm going to just do is set the presets on the power supply. Okay, so I've set the presets at 1 volt, 2 amp, and then we can always adjust it from there. Okay, we're gonna. Now you always want to go in as low as possible on the voltage. Now I know I can go up to 3.3 volt on this rail without a problem because this is a 3.3 volt rail. So we can do that if we wanted to. Where's my little spray bottle gone? Ah, there it is. Let me just get some isopropyl in that as well. I have a little spray bottle which I use to spray the board. There we go. As well as we've got some Q-tips and all the usual suspects as well. Okay, so let's power the power supply up. Okay, so it's on 0.95 of a volt. You guys can't see this, unfortunately. 1.3 amp. Now, that won't really be enough for anything to get too hot. What we're going to have to do is start putting a bit more current into it. We can go up to 3.3 volt. We're going to want 2 or 3 amp before we're really going to start to see. I'm just going to try and clean this off a little bit as well. 2 or 3 amp before we'll really start to get something get properly warm. Okay, so up to 1.4 volt, we're now drawing 2 amps. So that's a bit better. So now I'm just going to feel around. And as Lewis says, and I know I keep quoting Lewis, we're looking for the ow test. The ow. That's odd. Put a bit more. Okay, so at 1.75 volt, we're at 3 amp. So something now should start getting toasty. Right, let me just get this in a lot closer for you guys as well, and we can see if... I'm going to look at the screen as I'm doing this, because it's going to be easier for me. So if I put that there... I'm sorry about the light, guys. I do need to... Right, let's get spraying. And we're going to see if we can see anything boiling off. Well, what we can see is the P1 is getting hot. Let me just get my camera off screen a minute. Let's just get that off, just so we can see in a bit quicker. I wouldn't be shocked if, again, it's the P1, because it does seem... I know we dried rather quickly down, okay. What we're looking for is caps. So something like a capacitor. The system management IC does seem to be drying quickly. The P1 is actually drying slower than the system management IC, which is interesting. It is also worth noting it could be on this side of the board under this can, which I haven't taken off yet. So the P1 does get hot. Yeah, it does naturally get hot anyway. And this is where a thermal camera gets handy. Let me just check something. I just spotted something on one of the caps there. These two. What you will find sometimes is it will start to boil off. Let's put a bit more in and get a bit more heat. Okay, we've got some proper heat in it. We've got some proper current now. We're over 4 amp at 2 volts. So something's about to get very, very toasty. Interestingly, can you start to see that bubbling? It is bubbling there. Okay, so if we now looking this area here, say like that cap there, it's definitely bubbling. So, him. Ooh, what's interesting is the coils are getting hot on the output for the system management IC. Very hot. Okay, I think what... Because obviously what we've got here is the system management IC, which does all of the lower voltages for the P1. So you've got, I can't remember the exact voltages, but these four do that, and then you've got the capacitors on the output there. Oh, I can start to smell it now. Okay, let me just do something before we go any further. Just dropped it off. I just want to pull off the can on the other side, just to make sure that there's nothing under here. Oh, yes. She is toasty. Ow! Very. Oh, hello. Oh. Oh, hello. That's more damage I didn't know we had. Just get that focused for you. Oh, wow, yeah, that's okay. Think we found our short, guys. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I didn't know about him. Oh, right, 1 second. What is this? That's another IC. So if we just look at this on this board a minute, 1 second. 2 seconds, let me just remove something. Okay, so if we have a look on this one, where am I? I've lost it. Okay, so here's another one, which this one is broke. This is that first one. So it's that I see there, which means we do have one. However, that is pretty bad. Okay. Only the Vista has diodes. Yeah, there are. The Vista is the one that has the common diode issue. Wow, that one has cooked itself, to say the least, hasn't it? Or at least we know where the short is. Yeah, well, this board is a goner. This board is a total goner. There's going to be no recovering from this. It's incinerated the PCB there as well. He has gone very, very well. Let's get in there with some Q-tips and give it a clean. We've actually gone down to the copper layer below. I'm pretty sure it's gone when it happens. Is the PCB coming off? Yeah. Good afternoon. What have you buggered this time, Ghost? So for those who've just joined, this is another DJI Air unit. So I don't know, for those who follow on the Discord and stuff, I was flying the other day. Let me come back up. I'd rebuilt the quad in... No, I hadn't. This was before the rebuild. And I had a bit of a hard landing. It bounced in here with the air mode bounce. And I'm a bit slower to get off the arm switch on the Mambo, because it's not a switch. I'm not quite as on it as I'd usually be just cutting it. So I managed to come in and tap the ground before I disarmed, and she just bounced. Didn't flip, didn't roll, didn't anything. And as it settled, there was a little poof of white smoke. Now, there is going to be a video coming off it on this showing the damage, because I tore it down on the video. And there was a burn mark around the connection, and it's burnt the two regulators, and it also now has burnt this other IC on the back. Now, I was flying 4S, not 6S. And I was going to send this E unit back to DJI, but in the end, I just thought, what's the point? Because they're going to just turn around and say it's crashed. And there was some marks on the case. Most of my E units do have heavy marking on the casing, because on the quad I've flown them in, they sort of get jammed in between the frame. And it had some marks. So I stripped it down the other day, and the video of it will go live. And I'm using some of this. Some of this is going to be used to dive in a bit further and just have a look at what else has gone on and what it had done. Let's just get that off. Let's just unsolder that wire now. Let's just see if the short has actually gone now. Now we've removed that. Let's just have a look. No! No, we haven't killed the short. Wow. Wow, I'm shocked at that. But what it's done, so for those who've just come, it had, as you'll see on the other video, it properly burnt this regulator, so the 5-volt reg and the 3.3. It also had taken out the track down to here as well. There's a track that's meant to run along here, and it's eaten that out too. It's burnt that coil, but that one's okay. And I've just removed this coil simply to ensure that I could get to the short, because we had a short on this coil on this side, not on this side. But I hadn't removed the other side of the can. And now that I have removed the other side of the can, we've now found that. And it's actually burnt through into the layers below that one as well. So I think it's safe to say it's a goner. The tracks are gone. You can see it's actually lifting the top layer on there. Completely. It's lifted that layer there. Yeah, it's a goner. I think that'll buff out. Yeah. What is interesting is just how bad these ear units are going when they're burning out, because this was fully capacited quad. Okay, it didn't have a FET tech on it, as Whirly Bloke was saying earlier. It doesn't have a FET tech on, but I'm definitely going to start putting FET techs on all my DJI stuff now for sure, and the Shark Byte stuff. But it is just interesting at how bad it was. I was intrigued to see if it would be repairable, because if you remember this one, so this was the first one we burned. Again, when this one went, it burned both regulators, but we replaced the 3.3 volt reg, and that's working fine. That whole circuit is fine, but the 5 volt reg was shorted to ground, and in the end, I believe the P1 has burned. The DJI ones do seem very susceptible to getting damaged, and you know, that's two now that in very minor incidents, let's just come out a little bit, in two very minor incidents, because this one burnt on the bench for no good reason, and this one burnt on a little bit of a hard landing, and it's two that have nuked themselves in quite a spectacular fashion. And it's disappointing when you are spending this much money. You know, these ear units are £100 or $100 each. You know, they are not cheap at all. And in fact, I'm down now. I'm beginning to run out again. I actually had a decent supply at one point. I want to build a GPS autonomous mower. That'd be very good. You can easily do it with ArdraPilot, William. You really can. But yeah, so that's another one that bites the dust, guys. There's no recovering from that. So this is this one. It's taken out that. What is that? Because I've got a good one on this. I don't know what it is. Let's just go in. Have a look what it even is. Let's get it focused again. I'm definitely going to buy a microscope as well. My list of things is a hot air station and a microscope. So, let's get it over. It is a B3. Let me get my phone. Let's have a look what this is. A B3115. It's B3115. J38. It's probably a regulator. 3802E. B3115? Is that B3? B3115. Yeah, definitely B3115. J3820E. Yeah, can't even find it. How is the air unit powered? 4S, directly to battery, not via flight controller. Directly to battery. And the thing is on this, the quad didn't even flip. And what we are talking here, just to give you an idea, is literally... There's a frame. There's a chameleon. I think we are talking, you know, so you guys can, let me move that out of the way. We are talking that, it was more of a sort of a, and it bounced like that and then bounced and it settled. It didn't flip, it didn't roll. It was and yeah, she just went. She just went. Any word on canvas mode for DJI? Passed on the power of mine. Yeah, Mario, there was. Yeah, there was. Capacitor directly on the ESC, which this was directly soldered to the power input on the ESC. So yeah, there was one there. Shouldn't. No. It was one of those ones where I sat there and went, not sat there. Well, I was leaning on a roller machine, believe it or not, and I looked at it and just went, "Oh, really?" Yeah. Do you know what? Funny you say that, embedded fabrication. I was thinking this air unit was actually in this frame, and this has been. I've decided to do away with the chameleon. I've had enough of it. It seems to be cursed, and it was between these nuts and bolts on the back here, but it wasn't in TPU. So I am thinking that TPU does help a little bit. It really does help a little bit. So Steve, any news on canvas mode? There isn't, mate. Cadex made a lot of noise. Cadex have said they're working on it. I'm not convinced, and I'm not calling Cadex liars, but you got to take into account, since that happened, Runcam are now an official partner of DJI as well. I don't know. I personally think they were very silly to rush out and say we're working on it. Because if you follow the channel, look, that was all driven by the noise that I made on this channel around some of the issues. And they were sort of rushing out to appease people. And I think they've made a mistake on this. I'm not convinced it'll happen. I could be wrong. But I'm not convinced. They've got a lot of info and they've spoke to some good people. So there's nothing more we can do. Yeah, funny enough, Whirly bloke. I was talking to Mr. Rosser himself last night and on the phone, and I was talking to him last week as well. And there will be a 5 on the channel very, very soon. There may even be 2 of them. I've got a little bit of a plan I want to talk about on that as well. Yeah, but that's I basically jumped the Chameleon. I can't tune it clean. I can. It vibrates like hell. So I've had enough. So the Chameleon has been rebuilt into the Speedy B, which I really like this frame. Obviously, I'm not on the main camera, and I'll be talking about this. They did send me this for review. This is the rebuild after the Chameleon. We've got Crossfire, DJI unit. I've put the DJI camera back on rather than the Polar a minute, but I might put the Polar back on. I actually like the Polar. The Polar, right, has a lovely early evening image quality. Absolutely lovely early image evening quality. It really does. So yeah, that's been completely rebuilt. That's finished. It's been flying. All good. Happy as Larry with that. I have that Speedy frame that's coming in a day or two. We're going to put Bluetooth FC on it. Absolutely. It's a real nice frame. I do have a review of the frame coming as well, just to give you my thoughts. Literally, for you guys, amazing people who are in the chat, what I'll say up front is it's a really straightforward build. About my only complaints on this frame so far was some of the holes for the carbon were quite tough to get the screws through. It was a lot more work than I would have liked to do some of it, but that was it. The carbon cutting seems all right. It was more the screw hole alignment and getting the bosses in, because what you've got to do is clamp down these little clamps that go into holes in the carbon, and in the end I ended up putting it in a vise. The Roma F5 version 2 is a very nice frame. In fact, where is it? Today, I have just finished the build, and I'm be taking this out this afternoon. I'm charging batteries. Now, I have flown it in the garden to check it's doing everything it should be. Is a Roma F5 with the Shark Byte system on board. Sorry, this camera is terrible. So this is with... Actually, I'll probably be better with the overheads on this. Let's go back to the overhead. And zoom out. There we go. And let me go function 1. Boom. There you go. Okay. So this is the... Well, we can get rid of them now. We don't need that. We don't need that. This is the Roma F5 I've just built. It's a nice frame. This is with the HD0. So we've got Shark Byte in the back. The new HD0 camera has just arrived for me. That is installed. Not flown it out extensively. Simply bench tested it till now. So that's literally just been finished. I'm just having 1 or 2 little issues with the GPS. Keeps wanting to come out. And it's come out quite a tidy build. The Roma F5 is a real nice frame to build. It goes together very, very nicely indeed. This is fitted with tracer rather than crossfire. So we've got tracer on this one. And then we've got the custom 3D printed back end where I've got the thing. Now, the difference between the V1 and the V2 is it does have improved arm setup. Yes, I know people say these snap very easily. I don't intend to crash it that much. Other than that, it's a nice frame. And then the Speedy B, let's get that back under. Bit more of a compact build. Again, gone together very nicely. It's a nice fit with the DJI ear unit. You know, there's tons of space. If you look there, right, you know, the DJI ear unit is on TPU mounts. Look, I can get my finger in. There's loads of space at the back there. And then they have these custom mounts available for the DJI ear unit as well, which you can print. They don't send you them with it, but I printed that in TPU and cable tied it, and that's got the DJI antennas then set up on the back. And then at the current moment, I've got the original DJI camera back on there. But yeah, they're both really nice frames. If I was going to say which one to choose, I'll be honest, there's not a lot in them. I think you'll be happy with both of these frames. The diatone is longer, so if you're looking for a longer frame, the Roma is longer, if you look at it like that. It's definitely a longer frame overall. So the Roma sort of suits the Shark Byte system a little bit because of that long VTX, as well as the DJI one, but it all fits in the Speedy Bee just as easily. It really does. So I think you'd be happy with both of these. There is some nice little touches on the Roma, like these covers that go on the side. Like, where's the other one? I've taken one off. There it is. So the Roma comes with these like little covers that clip on to cover, to give just a bit more protection. They also come with covers that go on the motor ends. I didn't bother fitting them. The Diatone has like everything included with it as well. It's a nice frame. They both fly good. It's a longer frame though. There's no question that the Diatone, you know, if we put them camera to camera, you can see if I ignore the back end, the Speedy Bee finishes there. So the Roma is a much longer frame overall. But both good. Both nice frames. Both tidy. I think you'd be happy with both of them. Right, let me just rotate over to the chat so I can see it properly before I wind this one up, because that's pretty much me done, guys, now that we've found what the issue is. Those little carbon inserts are one thing I did found a pain. Yeah, they are a right pain, Ghost. I ended up putting it in the vise. I wasn't happy with how they were going in. My Polar white balance goes nuts even in low light. That is really the downside to the Polar. It's a great looking camera. In fact, where's the SD card on this? It's a job I haven't done yet. There should be some evening footage on this. 1 second, I'm just going to move you. There we go. Sorry, I put you back on the monitor. Just have a look. There should be. Right, back in the game. Not the normal camera, guys. This one is just a webcam that I use for the... it's a nice camera. Let me just have a look what I've got on here. Where are we? I don't know what footage I've got on this. We don't need audio. I took it away with me on like some nice evening. That was some test flights of it, so that's fine. 26, 26, 26. What about this? Oh no, the pups, they're not. Oh no, they're not on this one. That's interesting. Where are they then? Not sure what I've done with them. Because this was the test flights after the new build. Have I not flown it since? No, I might not have. I might not have. Take the goggles off and it's dark. Oh, yeah, yeah. It is amazing how the... Let's get this where it should be. There we go, guys. It is amazing how the Polar does react. It really does. It's... It's things. So the plan of this afternoon is I'm going to go fly in. I've just finished the HD0 build, so that's got the HD0 camera in it. So I'll be taking that out with the goggles. Everything's here ready to go with the Fat Shark goggles, and I'll be talking about that in the next week. I will put that air unit video up. I haven't recorded that bit, so I'm going to have to download this off YouTube and add that little bit in it. But yeah, I am looking at getting the quick. So Aten is the recommendation then from you guys. Is that what we think? Oh no, wrong camera. That one there. You reckon we should go with the Aten compared to the quick? If we add that to basket, what about the extra nozzles? Do they have the nozzles? as well. Let's have a look. Never used these. Repair outlet. I don't know if anyone has. Apple parts. They seem good. Do they have bent nozzles for the Aten? Aten ends? No. Nozzle. I can't see any nozzles. Is there not bent nozzles for the Aten? Anyone know? 250 bucks for a hairdryer. Have a great day. Stay safe, Steve. Yes, so Whirly Bloke is saying yes. Are there nozzles for the Aten? It's just a heat gun. It is just a heat gun. But I am then thinking about I've been looking at the AM scopes on and off so much. 35 to 90. It would be nice to get one. 20 to 40 to 80. That's that one with the camera option as well, but I need to dig back into that again. So Willy Bloke, is there bent nozzles for the Aten? There we go. AliExpress has the 45ers. Okay. Anyone in the UK? 45. What are they? 45. Nozzle. Is it nozzle? No, I spelled that completely wrong. So they got them on Banggood, which I could always order them from AliExpress or Banggood and just wait 6 years for them to arrive. But I was looking at the Quick as well. The Quick I was really tempted, but it is dearer. Yeah, they all seem to be AliExpress, although this is eShop, so okay. Size. Oh, they got them individually there. Okay, so what about a pack? Was that a pack? No, it isn't a pack. So we're talking $30. But if I order them from AliExpress, they just take a while, won't they? Can't remember where I got mine. Yeah. My eyes are too old for SMD work. The more you do it, the better you get. The problem is, if you haven't got the gear, it gets more difficult. You know, if you haven't got a solder station, a decent solder station, let me just make sure I powered that one down. And a microscope. A microscope goes a huge way, a long way when you're dealing with stuff this small. What's becoming very, very apparent is when it's talking about air units that you're not able to repair these very easily. And I'm beginning to wonder how many of these have ever been repaired. I know there's a guy in Germany that does it. But again, if all of these, you know, I've had 2 go and they've both gone catastrophically, so that's 100% total failure rate in the ones that have failed, that are unrepairable. So it makes you wonder. Now the devices that, if you guys don't know, is called a FetTech. Let me just find them and share them if you haven't seen them. Right, so FetTech diodes, I think it is. Spike absorber is what it's called. So it's this item here. Okay, so it clamps down with spikes and absorbs it. 6S voltage normal capacitor, 6S voltage with many capacitors, and then the spike gets absorbed. So it allows a maximum operating voltage of 25.2 I would like a 4S version, would be really nice, just because I fly mostly 4S, not 6, although I am going to start moving over to 6. The only reason I fly 4 is because I have so many 4S packs. But yeah, FetTech Spike Absorber, they haven't been in stock in many places. I was looking in the UK, and stock has been really low. Hobby RC didn't have them. No, out of stock. Out of stock with unmanned aerial tech as well. So, yeah, you can't get them. Rotor Riot's out of stock. Not that that affects me. Newbie Drone. They appear to have them. So, yeah, I'm really thinking of getting some of these, but you can get them directly from FetTech as well. I don't know what their carriage is like to the UK, so let's just say I want 4. Add to shopping cart. Proceed to check out. Where does it? Where are they based? Where are they? Contact us. No, not newsletter. Contact us. The US? Are they? Where? I don't know where they're based. Does anyone know? Should check the chat. Hey Brandon, how are you? Uses a microscope and a 32-inch monitor so we can see what he's soldering. Set mind the wires. You can buy SME practice kits. Yeah. The more you do, I got enough dead parts to do a practice kit. Don't worry about that. Yeah. So, if you haven't seen them, I'd consider getting these. The short spike absorber. They do seem to be a very, very good idea. Nice and simple idea. There are ESCs with these on board now as well, so if you are interested. Yeah, for Germany, it does look like Germany in it. So, really, guys, that's it on this one. We've not been. It's another dead air unit. It was just a quick stream just to see what we've seen. Another one bites the dust, as they say. My plan now is to finish charging these batteries. I'm going to then get out with this Shark Byte system and see how it actually behaves. Right, guys, I'll be live as normal tomorrow night on the channel for the normal weekly live. This was just a random one. I'm probably going to take this one offline. This one won't stay online. I'll just delist it because it messes with the stuff on YouTube. So anyway, that's it, guys. You stay safe. Let me find the button. Look after yourselves. Have a great day flying, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.